Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ezreen Syafika Binti Afandi, and I will start with the introduction. So, as Malaysia's economy has been impacted by the global financial crisis, in Malaysia, it is engulfed in a severe regional currency crisis that has swept East Asia. It began in Thailand and swiftly spread to neighboring countries and also South Korea. So the stock market and asset prices both crashed as a result of the currency crisis. It then led the exchange rate to drop even more, and businesses were heavily damaged by the drop in the currency rate and the value of equities, and as the result, East Asian enterprises are suffering. So, as Malaysia's economy has been severely impacted by the global financial crisis, the effect from the problem is Malaysia's competitiveness has been enhanced, and this is because of the ringgit depreciation. And another effect from the financial issue is Malaysia's economy had declined further in the fourth quarter of 2020, in which has led to a substandard contraction in the gross domestic product, or also known as GDP. Due to COVID-19 in Malaysia, the country faces a quite number of economic crises, and many medium business, also small enterprises in Malaysia have been affected significantly with their issue of cash flow. This is because the pandemic has caused a reduced monetary flow and disturbance, and the supply and also demand change, while having issues on the sector of the financial support such as the stimulus package. It is a great challenge for them to survive in the economy during the pandemic. So in addition, it was reported by the Malay Mail that over 30,000 micro, small and medium enterprises, or also known as the MSME, were closed down due to the economy that trembled, in which had also affected the country and its people.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Isma Farhan bin Hisham. So today I want to present about the background of e-Penjana program. So as we all know that the pandemic of COVID-19 has given a lot of impact to our country as a whole, and it has been a difficult situation for our society in order to have their normal life back as before. And therefore, the government has taken initiative to improve our economy sector by implementing the e-Penjana program. And these programs are initiated under the short-term economic recovery plan. And basically, these programs are intended to enhance our economic performance by encouraging the consumer spending. So, the e-Penjana program also will be using a contactless payment method in order to show to the society that this is the most effective way to break the chain of this pandemic issue, as well to take care of the public people health. And for this program, there will be three application chosen to be used as a contactless payment method, which is GrabPay, Boost, and also Touch and Go e-wallet. So this is one of the easiest approach from the government towards the society, since it can be denied that the gadget nowadays are counted as one of the human needs. Next, on term of qualification, there will be a few qualification that the government will be concentrate to the society. First of all, the applicant of this program must be a Malaysian citizen. Since this program are under Malaysian government, and the next qualification is that the applicant must be more than 18 years old. This is because that during this age they will face with a lot more commitment and also responsibility in their reality life, instead of those who are below 18, who most of them are under their parent commitment. Last but not least, the qualification for this program, that it is eligible for those who earn their annual income less than 100,000 a year. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay. Assalamualaikum. My name is Aliff and I will present about source of problem and the related ministry responsible toward the initiative. Okay, by now it is clear that pandemic COVID-19 that have been faced by Malaysia since March 2020 have intensely damaging Malaysia. The main source of economic in Malaysia that have been damaged by this pandemic come in twofold, which the first is the knock-on effect from the impact of the COVID-19 that come from outside of Malaysia. And second is come from domestically due to the newly imposed movement control measure. During the pandemic of COVID-19, all borders in the world have been closed to stop the spreading of the virus. All the activities that involve with crossing the international border need to be stopped. All tourism activities also need to be stopped to reduce the number of contact and possibilities in spreading the virus. Because of that, world economy facing a downfall because there is not international trading to boost up their economic activities. Many companies that involved with tourism and also international trading are being affected by the closing border. The companies cannot make the profit and they must cut their employees' income to survive their business. Next source of the problem is when Malaysia government have introduced movement control order or known as MCO to prevent the virus from spreading in the country. Movement control order or MCO was implemented by the federal government of Malaysia as a preventive measure to break the chain of the virus spreading. MCO aim to control and restrict the movement of people to an infected area. During the implementation of MCO, all premises must be closed, including public school, private school, and public and private university, and all non-essential service. All companies that really rely on their production to make a profit need to be closed during the MCO. For example, the factories in the red zone area. Due to this, all companies regardless of scale are currently facing several challenges, especially those in the aviation, tourism and hospitality industries with a real threat of substantial sales decline, insolvencies and job losses in specific sector. This made it hard for people to live their life as many had lost their source of income. Many people do not have a decent job and they do not have enough money to spend when they do not have a salary. Because of that, they cannot contribute more to the economic activity in Malaysia. The related ministry that responsible toward this initiative is Ministry of Finance or MOF. Ministry of Finance has come out with a solution to help Malaysian business and Malaysian economy that have been affected by this pandemic COVID-19. MOF have introduced National Economic Recovery Plan, or also known as PENJANA, to solve all the problems that involve with the economy. The objective of this ministry is to ensure sustained and continuous economic growth as well as improving quality of life and well-being of society in Malaysia. So under Penjana, there are e-Penjana, where e-Penjana been introduced to stimulate Malaysian economy during the pandemic. The objective of e-Penjana are to provide one-off aid or assistance in the form of money for all eligible applicants to spend the money that they get to help Malaysian economy stay active in the during the pandemic. E-Penjana serve as one of the way to stimulate back the economy of Malaysia during the pandemic COVID-19 with the implementation of movement control order. So that's all. I will pass to the next presenter.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Khairi bin Abdul Jalil and I will continue to present the next part, which is the mandate of program National Economic Recovery Plan Penjana. COVID-19 is one of history's most challenging global humanitarian and health crisis outbreak, particularly in Malaysia. It has shown a rapid increase in the number of cases, which affected the countries, societies, and economies as well. Hence, this has caused a large number of people who get infected, the closing of businesses, and other initiatives made by the government to counter the pandemic of COVID-19. To mitigate the impacts of COVID-19, the Malaysian government has implemented the National Economic Recovery Plan, Penjana, on 5th June 2020 as an economic stimulus package. The government has identified the three key thrusts under Penjana, which focuses on preserving the welfare of Malaysian citizens, propel businesses, and stimulating economic growth in light of the COVID-19 outbreak in Malaysia. So, our selected topic of e-Penjana is an initiative by the government under the mandate of the National Economic Recovery Plan Penjana, which aim at encouraging consumer spending. Therefore, this program would provide immediate assistance to relieve the burden of people's life and ensure that no community or individuals is left behind. The government's initial initiative through the National Economic Recovery Plan Penjana helped Malaysia to avoid the issues of economic downturn due to COVID-19. The emergence of the COVID-19 virus has tremendously influenced the Malaysian economy and life of humanity as a whole. The pandemic has affected people's daily activities at many levels, including households, students, women, workers, and health staff as well. Thus, under Penjana, the government allocated a total of 40 initiatives worth 35 billion, and 10 billion of this amount is a direct government fiscal injection. Various programs have been drafted under Penjana, such as Wage Subsidy Program, Micros and SMEs e-commerce campaign, e-Penjana credits in e-wallet, flexible working arrangement incentive, and many more. Hence, these programs established by the government aim to cushion the financial impact of the COVID-19 pandemic faced by the Malaysian populace by providing financial assistance across all segments of societies in Malaysia. That's all. Thank you.
So I will talk about the first element of the SWOT analysis, which is strength. As we all know that it is vital for all organizations to use the SWOT analysis, especially because the analysis helps to discover recommendations and also strategies with a focus on grasping strengths and opportunities to overcome weaknesses and also threats. Okay, so the first element of SWOT analysis, which is strength, and the strength of e-Penjana, in which it aimed in encouraging consumer spending focuses and simultaneously promote safety practices through contactless payment, and also help the public health authorities to ease contact tracing for COVID-19 through the MySejahtera application. As example, there are 15 million Malaysians who stand to receive the e-Penjana, and the government provides RM50 e-Penjana credits to be used for purchases through the selected e-wallets, such as on Boost, GrabPay, and also Touch and Go e-wallet. And the selected e-wallet service providers will furnish additional incentives worth RM50 through vouchers, cashback, and also reward points. However, only those who are eligible will receive the credits. And also, the e-Penjana credits are not allowed to be transferred to other e-wallet accounts or be cashed out. The Malaysian government had also expanded the fiscal policy due to the current pandemic by coming out with the Penjana stimulus package, and as the government's RM35 billion short-term economy recovery plan, or also known as Penjana, was announced somewhere around June 2020, has been well received by the economists. The second strength of the e-Penjana is to help kickstart the recovery stage of the country's economy in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. And additionally, on the allocation in stimulating the digital adoption in the economy, a research manager Lau Zhangzhou, a manager at the Institute for Democracy and Economic Affairs, said it is highly commendable. However, he said that the structural issues ranging from infrastructure investment, effective regulation, and also the presence of monopolies must be addressed in connecting with the current recovery spending. And this is because it is crucial to better lay the foundation for upcoming growth and development in the future. Lau also said that while e-Penjana is understood to be a part of the short-term recovery plan that will expire at the year end, some of the initiatives still seem very much an extension to the protection-focused theme from previous stimulus package.
Moving on to the second element of SWOT analysis, which is the weaknesses of e-Penjana. Many people praise the economic stimulus package, but somehow most others question it and pointed out its weaknesses. So the first weaknesses of e-Penjana is insufficient amount of financial aid. As announced by the Prime Minister of Malaysia, Tan Sri Datuk Haji Muhyiddin bin Haji Muhammad Yassin, the allocation for e-Penjana credits in e-wallet worth only 50 ringgit. Looking at the current situation of the country and the people due to the presence of COVID-19, the amount of financial assistance given by the government to the eligible people is absurd. This is because many people are affected financially as a result of layoffs, closing of work premises, and movement control order MCO implemented by Malaysian government. Every segment of society is entitled to receive a reasonable financial assistance in line with the critical economic problems facing by the country and the people as well. The second weaknesses of e-Penjana is it cannot be cashed out or transferred to other e-wallet accounts. This term of condition has forced the people to switch to the use of online payments, where it requires a good technological literacy. This may also be difficult to the people to deal with it as they are already used to cash payments. Basically, moving to a cashless society is likely offers more convenient. However, going cashless may prove to be troublesome than advantageous. For example, the digital transactions sacrifice privacy of individuals and firms. Electronic payments or transactions are not as private as cash payments. When the people trust the businesses who handle their data, the more information they have floating around online, the more likely it is to end up in malicious hands. Another example is the temptation to overspend the money may increase. This is because when it comes to electronic payments, it is all too simple to swipe, tap, or click without realizing how much money the individuals have spent. Thank you.
Okay, so next I will explain the opportunity that has been provided by e-Penjana. E-Penjana helping people in terms of encouraging them to spend the money to help economy in Malaysia keep improving during the outbreak of COVID-19. E-Penjana also provide much needed assistance to a person who are affected by the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic and the implementation of the Movement Control Order or MCO. Malaysia people can use e-Penjana that they get freely without any restriction to support their daily life. They can use e-Penjana to purchase online and offline product and also including paying a toll or parking ticket. People can spend their e-Penjana to make sure Malaysian economy stay active during the pandemic. It shows that the assistance that has been provided by the government is useful and become an opportunity to people that have a business to continue operating their business. Government financial aid is very useful to Malaysia economy because it shows government taking their goal of Penjana very seriously, which is to stimulate Malaysian economy. It can be seen when people use e-Penjana to purchase some product that have been sold by our local business. E-Penjana initiative program clearly help business to survive, and that is why the government show up to be focusing on implementing the National Economic Recovery Plan at a time when Malaysian economy facing a downfall and small business were drowning during the pandemic. This initiative give an opportunity to other people to help and support each other during this pandemic of COVID-19. So that's all from me. Thank you very much.
So next I will present about the threat for this program. As we all know that this pandemic outbreak has influenced the country in many perspectives, such as the health institution, economic institution, educational institution, and this issue has led Malaysia to involve with major problem, especially in the economic sector. So during this pandemic, the government has to make a difficult decision, such as movement control order, in order to tracking and also break the chain of this pandemic issue. But however, the government also need to consider their decision in order to secure the economic sector as well. And during this pandemic, the government need to spend out more on their financial resources in order to assist the health institution as a response towards this pandemic issue. But the government also need to consider their decision on spending their budget in order to help the society as in term of financial resources. This is because during this pandemic, there are some of the people are facing with loss of income, mental illness, and also the issue of unemployment rate keep increasing in Malaysia from time to time. And this can be a burden for the government to run the country as usual, because there are a lot of things that needs to be considered before a final decision is made. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Naim bin Zaharudin, and I will proceed to the challenges of the e-penjana. So as we all know that the technology is always changing from time to time. As the time fly, the technology is evolving, as well as the technologies and the gadgets. So the problems occur within the e-penjana is the elderly might have faced a problem in catching up the financial aids given through the e-penjana. Commonly, the elderly they have a problem in a certain of time to adapt with the new technologies in the gadgets. So they only know the gadgets to use, and to use the gadget in like communications and the basic things using the gadgets. So the folks might not familiar with the system introduced by the government, such as e-penjana, where they allocate the money into the system in the gadget. So they might have problem with that. So other than that, the e-penjana have a problem in withdrawing the cash, which is the cash, the financial aids given by the government cannot be withdrawn into the cash money in hand. So they will have faced the problem because elderly, most of them like to spend using the cash money. As for the next challenges that e-penjana face is the less accurate of the government database. In order to giving the financial aids to the citizens of Malaysia, the government need to have a proper system in terms of gathering the information of the acceptance of the to the citizens. So what happened in the e-penjana is there is a minority of group that might not get the financial aids. There's some of the groups, some of the citizens maybe live in the rural area. They might have a problem in accepting the financial aids because they living in a poor conditions, and it's kind of hard to reach them in their territories. So the government needs a really proper way to reach them. So that's all from me. We'll pass to the next presenter. Assalamualaikum, my name is Naim. I will proceed to the next point, which is the recommendations. As for the recommendations that we can apply to the Penjana, which is the government must come out with a solution, which is the financial aids will equally distributed. So the step that government should do is to create various medium in a way to give or to distribute the financial aid. So the e-Penjana can be used in e-wallet such as Touch and Go, Shopee wallet, or other kind of things that works the same way as like the e-wallet. Other than that, the government also can give the money cash hand to hand to the acceptance of the financial aid. So with this way, the government can cover the overall area and overall group that consists in Malaysia. So there should be no problem by the Malaysians to accept the financial aids, and maybe they can decrease the problems of the equality of the distribution of the financial aids. So as for the next point, the recommendation is the upgrading the data collection system. As we all know, the government have the census ministry, which is responsible to collect data of all the citizens in Malaysia that live in Malaysia. So they need to upgrade their system to reach every person in Malaysia, so they will gain more precise data and more information about them and who and how much they will get or gain the financial aid given or allocated by the government. So with this way, the government can cover almost every part of Malaysian, including the rural area that live in maybe nearly to the forest or something. So it is applicable to the government to apply it in the system. Thank you from me. So that's all.
So to be concluded, the plan implemented must be improved, reviewed and also evaluated continuously throughout the year in accordance with the current needs and also unforeseen circumstances. And the national agenda for economic development must be enhanced, and reliance on available and obtainable resources must be decreased efficiently. And as we all know that the e-Penjana program is under the Penjana's third core thrust of bracing the economy, and the dynamism was an encouragement for the society to switch from using cash to e-wallet, and which is now one of the popular trends under the new normal lifestyle. The e-Penjana program must have the right objectives in order for it to be successful. That is all from our group. Thank you so much.